So in this video, we'll be talking about the new moon that is coming up in Scorpio on November 4th. As you guys can tell, I have the world chart pulled up. And this is just a chart that I made. I just put this emoji because the location for this chart is the center of the earth. So as you can tell, I put 0 degrees north, 0 degrees east. And this is just what I like to do when I look at new moons, because we can see the ascendant, or basically the sign that was rising at the time of the moon. And it will be from the point of view of the center of the earth. If we look at the location of where that is on a map, it's basically on the Gulf in Africa. I don't know what to call that, but it's in the Atlantic Ocean. You know, the center of the world is basically in that little pocket, right in the I guess the peninsula. This huge peninsula that's poking down, you know. Anyways, it's within that gulf. So that is the center of the earth. And that's what this chart is set up to revolve around. So anyways, we're going to look at the moon. Now, if you guys are curious what this app is called, it's called Time Nomad, and you can look at your natal chart and stuff if you know the coordinates and if you know your time of birth. But we're going to pull up the new moon, and we're just going to hide the aspects for the time being. With that being said, the sign that is rising at the time of this new moon is Cancer. The ascendant, or the rising sign, shows us how we will be perceiving the world, through which lens. And the sign of Cancer is about emotions, and it's also about security or comfort. So the lens through which people will be viewing the world during this next 2-week time period is through the lens of their emotions, and also through the lens of security and what makes them feel more comfortable, or what will be more secure for them long term. And this is also how you will be seeing things, perhaps. Now, we're going to pull up aspects now, because the ascendant is trine to Mercury and Mars. A trine is a 120-degree angle, and it's basically a aspect that shows how the first point will be perceived more strongly by others. So the ascendant is a trine to Mercury, which is the sign of communication. So how our actions will look like is it will be reinforced by Mercury. And more importantly, our desire for security will manifest itself through the form of communication and expression, especially within the context of relationships, because Mercury is in Libra. It's also in the 4th house, so this is about emotional conversations, because the 4th house is the sign associated. The house associated with the sign of Cancer. So anyways, our actions will be perceived by others externally as forms of communication. It's also trine to Mars. Mars is about motivation, and it's in Scorpio. Scorpio is about the difficult things, the unpleasant things in life. So we'll be motivated to confront these things. And all of this is coming from our emotions or our desires for security. So if there's anything you are searching for in life right now that you believe will give you more security, well, this thing is going to motivate you during these next few weeks to confront difficult situations, especially difficult relationships or people that have a negative impact on your life through your relationship with them. So also the ascendant is square to the vertex. So what's interesting, the vertex just shows a karmic point where other people will have an effect on the chart bearer or whoever's chart you're looking at. It shows divine encounters or divine synastry. That's the best way to sum it up. It's a point of divine synastry. So with that being said, it's in Aries. I believe that's just the natural point that it's always at, actually. If you don't have, if you live near the equator, it's always in Aries. So either that or it's in Libra. So never mind. We can't talk about that point. You would have to look where you live and where the vertex is in your location, and it would tell you more. And then people that have planets conjunct to that vertex, this shows that they will have a significant influence during this time on the paths of other people, or they may play a divine role in the lives of other people during that time, or push forward the themes of that transit. So anyways, yeah, the vertex is always on Aries, I believe, when you have a point near the equator, and 0 degrees is like directly on the equator. So it's not very significant for this chart, unfortunately. Now, next up. So the new moon is in Scorpio, which is about transformative moments. And the special thing about new moons is that the sun is lighting up the back side of the moon. So a different side to our emotions that we've never seen. That's why new moons can be about new beginnings, because it's often a new epiphany that we have, or a new idea that we want to start. It's a new side of ourselves that we've never seen or that we rarely see, you know? And that's what it represents symbolically. So because from the point of view of Earth, the moon is dark, and that's because the sun is on the opposite side of the moon from us, and therefore it's lighting the back side. Anyways, that's why it's such a genius transit, and you can have a lot of epiphanies, new things that you want to start and whatnot. But it's in Scorpio, which is about transformative moments, complicated moments. And what we see is that the moon is opposing Uranus and Taurus. So, for the most part, we will be seeing a new side to our relationships and a new side to ourselves. And this will be due to us looking deeper, because Scorpio is about depth. It's about secrets, questions, and it's about confrontations and difficult conversations, difficult situations, struggles sometimes even. So due to struggles or just due to our actions, because the ascendant is in Cancer and our actions are fueled by our emotions, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. Therefore, so due to that stuff, we will be seeing or experiencing a different side to ourselves, because again, the ascendant is in Cancer, and the ascendant is about ourselves, but also others in a way. And I forgot what made me think that. Oh, I know. The ruler of Scorpio is Pluto, and Pluto is in the 7th house. So this is about others, because the 7th house is about our relationships. It's about other people's reaction to us, other people's collaboration. And Pluto is in Capricorn, which is the sign of the emotions of others. And Pluto rules transformation. So due to the transformation in other people's feelings and other people's security, because Capricorn rules is basically the opposite of Cancer. Cancer is our own security, and Capricorn is the security of others, or it's the security that we get by other people than ourselves and our own personal lives. So this is why it rules things like the government. So transformations in the government, in other people's security, in the emotions of somebody, in your relationships, especially them seeing a new side to their emotions. This is causing us to see a different side to ourselves, and also obviously see another side to other people. And that's where I was getting all that from. But it's causing transformational moments, and the need to fix issues in our security, and fix issues that we have in our relationships to others. Anyways, getting kind of off track and like rambly. But I feel like I'm saying a lot of like useful stuff, but I'm sticking too long on this particular aspect. I feel like I got the main point across. But anyways, the next thing is the fact that the sun is opposite to Uranus. So oppositions are about conflicts. And so during this time, we will be noticing or feeling new things or new sides to ourselves or to our relationships, especially complications or challenges or things that no longer serve us, things that we want to get rid of or purge and purify, because Scorpio is about death and transformation and purification. So all those things that we're noticing, the new stuff, is stuff that makes us realize that we are, well, it doesn't make us realize. I think the better way to put it is it's a bunch of stuff that's getting away from our independence, because Uranus is about freedom and independence, and Taurus is about self-sufficiency. It's about resources and being to ourselves. So during this time, we may realize new debt, or we may realize situations are no longer serving us, and they're getting in the way of our freedom and our self-sufficiency. Now, the next thing is, now we want to look around and have some fun and see, different interesting questions. So, like, I guess we can do topics. So, we can talk about relationships and love. And for that, we want to look at where Venus is. So, opportunities for love and relationships. Venus is at the final degree of Sagittarius. And this is about exploring the limits of things, and really pushing to the edge of what relationships mean and what love means, and what it is that we want to learn from others. Because Venus is at that final 29th degree, and Sagittarius is about exploration, and it's about finding the boundaries. And so when it's at that limit degree, and it's right before Capricorn, which is the sign of limits, restrictions, and truth. It's about definitions, what we agree upon. What our relationships during this time are going to be themed around is those exact themes, but I'm forgetting how I wanted to say it. But man, I lost my train of thought basically. But it was going off of that fact that we will be exploring the limits of the meaning of relationships. Sagittarius is about knowledge, and it's about what things mean. So I don't know. I forgot how I wanted to frame all that and put it all together. But anyways, the opportunity during this time is really to explore what relationships really mean, and what is the limit to love, and what is the truth behind it. and what's the absolute truth? Because as you can tell, Venus is at that final degree and is getting right before the sign of Capricorn, which is about definitions and truth. So it's about finding what is real about love in our relationships, or what is real about our partnerships and our significant people in our lives. And it's in the sixth house, which is about being critical and observant. So we're going to be observing carefully what it is that other people contribute or take away from our lives, and under the context of what relationships really mean. That's how we'll be viewing things. We'll really want to explore, okay, how far will this person take me? Or what is the truth behind them and their actions, and what can I learn? So anyways, that's where Venus is, and that's love and relationships. Venus also rules finances. So financial opportunities, this could be about learning a skill, because the sixth house is about skills. Sagittarius is about knowledge. And since it's at the 29th degree, it's about limits of knowledge. So pushing the limits of what you know in terms of a certain skill will bring a lot of financial opportunity during this time. Also, looking for opportunities to learn, because the sixth house is about observations and it's about opportunities. It's ruled by Mercury, and it's associated with the sign of Virgo, which is a mutable earth sign. And earth is about variables, things that are tangible. And mutability, which is kind of like the sign of Gemini, is about ideas, opportunities, exchange. So Virgos, they're all about finding the variables of things and moving them around in the most lucrative or effective way, or organizing them in the most productive way, for example. But they're all about capitalizing off of variables and opportunities, especially changing variables, things such as prices of foods, or, it could be about investing too. It could be about stocks. They're all about capitalizing off of variables. So anyways, during this time, it's a good time to find opportunities to learn, especially things that push the boundaries of things. I wouldn't say push the boundaries, but that determine the limits or determine the boundary of something. Because that's what Capricorn represents and is right about to enter that sign. But Sagittarius is about the exploration part. It's about finding the limit before it becomes set. Anyways, that is Venus. Now, something I wanted to cover is also the significance of the eighth house. The eighth house is a fixed water house, and it can show you how to manifest or where to manifest and to gain, power, or to manipulate circumstances in your favor. Eighth house is about control and manipulations. So when you manifest, it is just an attempt to control your life to a certain extent and to exert more control over your circumstances and to create good luck, right? And the eighth house is succeeded by the ninth house, meaning it's followed by the ninth house. Sorry, my stomach is making a weird noise. I don't know if you guys heard that, but the ninth house is about luck. And so the eighth house is no coincidence. It's not by accident, I should say, that it rules manifestation. It's about altering the odds in your favor. That's why it's succeeded by the ninth house of luck and blessings. So anyways, the eighth house shows how to manipulate things in your circumstance and what you need to do behind the scenes, in private, and where to set your intentions. Water is about manifestation, and the water signs are about formlessness and things that we can formulate And a lot of times they are okay. They what was I gonna say anyways? It's about things you want to formulate, right? But what else? What I was gonna say? I literally. Anyways, it's just not coming to me. But it was just there, and I lost my train of thought. But yeah, we're just gonna move on. But in a general sense, water is about manifesting, and it's formless. So it's really up to us how we how where we pour it, and how we shape it, and what boxes that we use or what forms that we put it into, and then you can freeze it, and it becomes solid. So water is a creative substance. It encompasses all forms. It's a form of communication, just like air. It is a physical substance when it's frozen, and it is a source of energy, just like fire signs. Water carries a lot of force, and it is a agent of movement, and fire signs are all about movement and action. And then last but not least, it is a creative substance. It connects things. It merges with all things. And that's what the essence of water is all about. And so that is why it is about manifesting, because you can put it in any form that you want. You can use it in any way. So people that have a lot of water in their charts, they're good manifestors, or they just have that ability. Whereas somebody that didn't have any water, but like say, for instance, they had a lot of air in their chart, well, they only would tend to manifest through capitalizing off of opportunities and exchanges and communication. So whereas somebody with a lot of water can be creative, and they can create a new form in the world, create a new job, new type of creative expression. They can connect things, and they can imitate things that they like as well, because they can form and shape into something similar. On the other hand, the air sign, it doesn't have an ability to solidify. It just has an opportunity to move substance, to move particles, especially, small pieces of dirt and whatnot. That's earth. Earth is about variables. So air signs need a variable, and they will capitalize off of it. So if they see a flyer for a job, then they're the type of individual that is best suited to seize that opportunity, and they're most capable of doing that. Or if they notice that they can buy something from one store, and they can sell it to somebody else for more expensive, or they can sell it on an online store for more, they will capitalize off of that. But they're not the types that will come up necessarily with a new form of creativity. They'll just take forms and move them around. So, yeah, so anyways, the eighth house, fixed water. What you're focused on, and how you can manifest, is the sign of Aquarius. And more importantly, we have the planets Jupiter and Saturn. So Saturn is about structure and stability, and it rules, external forms of structure. Aquarius is about decentralization. So during this time, you can manifest or manipulate your circumstances more independently, and more effectively, I should say, by establishing external forms of security that are more autonomous or more decentralized. So instead of relying on the government or on structures that are now changing and that may no longer be stable, Saturn has been pushing people to create new circumstances, um, or to find new external forms of structure that are decentralized, or that are in their own control, or in the form of the community's control. So like, people have been finding groups or communities that will support them better than more traditional forms of external structure. And this is something that during this new moon and during these next 2 weeks will help you to manipulate or alter circumstances in your favor, or to manifest things. Even if it's occult manifestation, even if it's scripting, it doesn't have to necessarily be about manipulating things physically. Now, Jupiter is the planet of blessings and abundance, and it's about knowledge. So during this time, learning about technology and learning about self-reliance, or learning how to be more self-reliant, is going to help you manifest more. As well, having faith in your own uniqueness, or your own unique endeavors that may be different than the traditional way of doing things. And that will help you manifest, because Jupiter and Saturn are both in the 8th house. Now, the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is about finances. So something that I'm into, and also that I've posted a few videos about, is cryptocurrencies, and how astrology affects them, and what natal chart placements each of the coins has. But in a general sense, people have been finding a lot of self-sufficiency in cryptocurrencies, and they've been taking a gamble, which is Jupiter. A lot of people have been taking a gamble and trying to invest in something new, like such as those. And what it's showing is that during this time, that will help them to manifest and to gain more control over their circumstances. So with that being said, I guess the last thing I can cover is the trine with Saturn and Lilith, because I think that was a very interesting observation I made earlier. I think I wrote it down somewhere in my notes. But essentially, a trine shows how things will be expressed, or how they will be perceived externally, how they will, how the actions will be perceived. So during this time, this reliance on structures that are more decentralized, or this responsibility to innovate, this need to progress and to become more independent, is going to be perceived as you going your own way intellectually, because Gemini is about intellect and Lilith is about being an outcast, an outsider, or going your own way. So this is about going your own way in your mind and making sense of your dreams, because Lilith is in the 12th house of possibilities, imagination, vision, dreams, creativity. So using a logical approach and going your own way intellectually. And as you can tell, Lilith is, it was recently conjunct to the North Node, but is in the same sign as the North Node. The North Node is what we're called to do during these times. And it's been in this sign of Gemini since basically the start of this pandemic. But really, the start of the lockdowns. And what it was teaching us, or I guess the direction we're called in, is to think for ourselves, to not just believe things, which is indicated by Sagittarius and the South Node being in Sagittarius. So anyway, not only is Saturn trine to Lilith, but it's trine to the North Node in the other direction. So again, this is this desire or this responsibility and these struggles that Saturn is causing are all to teach us to be more independent and to find more autonomous forms of external structure. It's all a lesson, and it's an opportunity, and it's Trine to the North Node. So how it will look externally is it will look like you thinking for yourself, or you coming up with your own intellectual ideas of what makes the most sense, and you coming up and noticing opportunities and coming up with ideas of your own. That's how Saturn and Aquarius will look, because it's trine to those 2 points, which are in Gemini. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up this video here. Kind of on a rant, and it's kind of long, but there's a lot of information that I gave alongside this transit that may have been interesting, and may have taught you guys some stuff. So if you enjoyed, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you would like to do so. And other than that, I will see you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.